You believe in him. You think he's ready. Is it time for Sidney Brown to take his throne? Dallas still stinks. You've been doing kick Dingbat here. So what do the Eagles need? Do they need another edge rusher? Do they need a linebacker? Do they need another safety? And will signing a veteran, going out and getting somebody, bringing him in, actually hurt the development of the young players? That is the question. But before we get into all of it, I got to say a happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you mothers out there. You guys are the best. You make everything go. A happy Mother's Day to my wife. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Happy Mother's Day to my mother-in-law. I love all of you guys so very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And to all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. I hope you enjoy this day, and don't take no crap off nobody today, okay? Today, the kids, they clean, they do the dishes, they do everything they're supposed to do, and then the husbands, they take care of you too. No doubt about it. But happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you mothers out there, in all seriousness. Now, I saw this article, and it kind of worried me, and it kind of scared me a little bit. Not because I really know what's going to happen, but because I don't know what's going to happen, and you got to wonder. Ed Kratz wrote an article, and in the article it said this: potentially worrisome news for Eagles Nakobe Dean out of San Francisco. And he goes on to talk about a 49ers player who just was released for the same injury after failing a physical. And could that be a worrying sign for Nakobe Dean? And the truth of the matter is, I don't know. But I do worry about Nakobe Dean health-wise and where he is. Did the Eagles go out and get Jihad Campbell knowing that Nakobe Dean may not be healthy right away, and even when he's ready to come back, may not be at 100%? It's something that you have to worry about. It's something that you have to consider. And I really worry about it. I thought Nakobe Dean last year really broke out. I thought he became the tone setter. And I'm curious to see how the Eagles want to use his linebackers. Because if Nakobe Dean could come back, and if he could play healthy at the level he was playing, where does Jihad Campbell fit in? Where does he fit in? It just seems like, to me, that this injury with Nakobe Dean, they may be a little more worried about than we're led to believe or led to know. Okay, so this is something we're going to have to keep our eye on. However, I hope Nakobe Dean comes back. I hope he plays healthy. I hope he double moonwalks everybody's ass. And then they'll have to find a way to get Jihad Campbell, get him on the field. This is rich man problems. These aren't Dallas Cowboy problems. This is rich man problems. Oh, I got Cowboy fans so pissed at me. You wouldn't believe it, but we'll save that for later on. So we're going to have to watch out for Nakobe and see what goes on. And I do wonder if the Jihad Campbell pick was like, hey, we got to get a guy right now that can take that place because we're worried about it. We'll have to see. Now, one of the positions that I'm worried about, okay, or I've been worried about, I'm not as worried now as I was, I would say, before the draft, but I worry about the safety spot. I thought we made the one big mistake that we did make, the one move we didn't have to make, was letting C.J. Gardner-Johnson go. I didn't think we needed to do that. Now you have to question who's going to be the safety. If I had to guess and I had to put money on it, I'm saying Makuba is going to be the starter. I think he's going to win the job. However, there are people out there that believe Sidney Brown is the answer. He's going to be the guy to get it done. And you know what? They may be right. I liked what I saw of Sidney Brown as a rookie. I did. I never looked at him, though, and said, man, I don't know. I think he could be a 10-year starter there. I never felt that way. And then he got injured, and clearly it takes time to get back. But PFF made a whole case talking about post-breakout players after the draft. Sidney Brown was mentioned for the Eagles. They said post-NFL draft breakout candidate for all 32 teams. Philadelphia Eagles is Sidney Brown, the safety. Brown will have some competition for a starting role after the team drafted Andrew Nakobe in the third round this year's draft. But Brown, a 2023 third-round pick, has seniority and experience in the NFL and Vic Fangio's defense, which should give him the upper hand. And we'll see. We'll see if it gives him the upper hand or not. I really don't know. I don't know. I almost wonder. And here's what I think is going to happen at the safety position. I think they're going to want Nakobe to play. Okay, I think that's going to be their hope. However, if they're going to go one veteran spot somewhere to bring in somebody, I think it's going to be safety. I think it's going to be Justin Simmons. He wants to be in Philly. He's begged to be in Philly. And I could see that happening. Now, you can't bring Justin Simmons in and then say, oh, you know what? We're going to let him be the starter and the other guys can take a back seat. Don't mess with guys, these young guys progressing. Don't. Let Justin Simmons be the backup and take on a veteran leadership role in that regard. Or, unless he can beat the guys out. If they're not ready, if Brown's not ready to play, if Nakobe's not ready to play, then you play Justin Simmons if you get him. I think there's an 80% chance Justin Simmons ends up in Philly. I think it's at least 80%, okay? He wants to be there. But, maybe PFF is right. Maybe Sidney Brown is the guy. I think Sidney Brown would fit better in Reed Blankenship's spot and where he is. But I think the Eagles like Reed Blankenship. I think Reed Blankenship's going to get an extension. That's why they went and kind of let C.J. Gardner-Johnson go. You give Reed Blankenship an extension while you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now you're going to have to pay C.J. Gardner-Johnson more money. So now you have a rookie. You can plug a rookie in there. Now you've freed up that safety spot to get an extension. So I don't know that he's going to beat up Reed Blankenship. But let me say this about Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship is a lot better than people think. I think people don't give him enough credit. I think he's way better. He's better than I thought. Like, I looked at him and I said, yeah, he's an okay starter, can come in, can play, be that bridge safety, he'll do a decent job. That's what I thought about before last year. But watching him last year, I said, no, this kid can play. This kid is a solid safety. I think he could be borderline Pro Bowler. I think he's somewhere in there. But he's an important piece for the Eagles. So, to me, you've got to extend Reed Blankenship, which means that Brown and Nakobe got to battle it out for that one safety spot. And then you could talk about Justin Simmons coming in. Now, like I said, I think the next position that the Eagles bring in a position where they bring in a veteran guy, it's going to be that safety spot. However, there are some guys, and I've been getting texts and emails, what about Jadeveon Clowney? Let's go to a different part of the defense. Let's go to the edge rusher. Let's bring in Jadeveon Clowney after we let Huff and Puff go. Let's bring Jadeveon Clowney in. Here's my thing. Jadeveon Clowney had 5.5 sacks last year. I still think he could play and be a rotational guy. He has something left. I have no doubt. But the Eagles don't like him. We've been talking about Jadeveon Clowney for like 5 years straight. Every year he's on a new team. And it's like, for whatever reason, maybe it's the concussion he gave Carson Wentz, they don't like him. They don't like him. So I just got to answer the question people have asked me. What do I think about the Eagles getting Jadeveon Clowney? I don't think it happens. I don't think the Eagles want him. I don't. Matter of fact, if you're going to go that route and you're going to go a veteran, the guy to get isn't Jadeveon Clowney. It's Matthew Judon. Now, we know they liked Judon. They tried to trade for him. We know that they did. He might be the guy to bring in if you want to add another rotational person in that pass rush on that line. He had 5.5 sacks like Jadeveon Clowney, and I think he fits way better than Jadeveon Clowney. So Matt Judon could be a guy that if the Eagles want to bring some depth from that defensive end spot or the edge linebacker, He's a guy to watch out for, because they've showed interest in him before. It's where Clowney, they've never showed anything. So I mean, it's something to keep an eye out. Although I gotta tell you, I think the pass rush is pretty good. I think with Uche, I think with and some people have been posting on my comments, Uche may not even make it. He might not. He might not. But with Azeez Ojulari, with Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith, I think the Eagles are going to be just fine. But if they do decide to bring a pass rusher, and an older guy, not T.J. Watt, because you're not going to pay him all that money, but a guy that could fit into the rotation, maybe has a little left, Judon could be the perfect guy. However, if I had to talk about, if I had to pick one defensive player that is going to end up coming in, I think it's Justin Simmons. I think he's most likely to come. I think it's just a matter of time. With that said, I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Mother's Day again to all the beautiful mothers out there. And with that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. And remember, it's how we vision, baby. We all just living in it. Cowboy fans have become so sensitive. I don't get it. What is happening to Dallas Cowboy fans? It's amazing to me. They got eliminated from the playoffs last year. Halfway through the year? Something like that? Mark was all dejected. There was nothing to talk about. I'd go on Cilio's show. Mark wouldn't say nothing. He was depressed. It was like there was nothing to talk about with the Cowboys. I didn't talk about Dallas Cowboys. I don't think I did, but maybe three Cowboy videos all season. And 2 of them were doing a Pickens trade, okay? I got Cowboy fans pissed off that I'm talking about them. Why are you talking about us? You need to have Cowboy stuff to get views and stuff. Oh, I need it. I need views by putting Cowboys content out. That's how I get my views. All the Eagle fans, all the Cowboy fans, they can't wait to see this dingbat Eagle fan come on and talk about the Cowboys. All right, you want to play that? You want to go there? Here's my response. I'm creating a Dallas Cowboys channel. What do you think of that? I'll create one. I don't know. I'll call it Dak for the Choke. Something like that. I'll call it Bizarro Mark Holmes or Bizarro Cowboy Joe Boo. I'll just do the mirror opposite of everything Mark Holmes does all day. He does 12 videos a day. I'll go on there and I'll argue at the opposite points. Whatever. You want me to do it? Should I do it? That's the question I have for you guys. And if I do, what should I call it? Man, I'll pull the biggest troll job ever against Cowboy fans if I do that. I'm thinking about it. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.